Well, we can go back to the cinemas if you want, but can you tell us a bit about the taxis and the vehicles you used to drive?
Well, the Bedford taxis, they had to be a minimum of 14 horsepower by rules and regulations. Although Bufton had a 12 horsepower standard. Nobody knows how he got it passed, because they said we don't pass anything under 14 horsepower. But whether they didn't ask him, or whether he didn't look, or whether he didn't tell them, I don't know. But he had a 12 horsepower standard. Well, it was a real wreck. So consequently, most of the cars had to be big cars, and the best big cars were undoubtedly the Yanks. Nearly all my cars were Yanks.
Did that apply sort of nationwide?
No, that was only Bedford, Borough Bedford. Yeah. And I had a Ford V8, which was a left-hand drive, which was a 33 horsepower. And FOY that was, your mother would remember that. Then I had a Lincoln Zephyr, which was a 12-cylinder. And that had two knobs on the dashboard. This was a 1937 car that controlled the shock absorbers. You could adjust the shock absorbers from two knobs on underneath the dashboard in those days. Because it was made by Ford, because people used to say, well, if you go from Cadillac to a Ford in the States, you know, it's like saying if you go from the Queen down to Gethins or whatever. So Ford decided that they'd make a car as good as a Cadillac, and they made this Lincoln Zephyr. So I had that. That's what I got done for speeding in. When the copper went to talk to your mum in the plaza and said, have you got a brother taxi driver? And she said, yeah. And he said, well, we've just done him for speeding. So your mother said, well, don't talk. He said, we thought he was a Pole, he wouldn't talk to us. I said, well, what are you saying then? They're prejudiced against Poles. I said, so if I'd have been English, I'd have been all right. I said, you thought he was a Pole? Because it was bucketing down with rain, it was. And I'd got the window up, and he came and tapped on the window. Well, one of them was hunting about trying to find what sort of car it was. Because I think it was the only one in Bedford, so they'd never seen one before. So they were hunting all over it. And he said, can I see your driving licence? So I took it out and I showed him it through the glass, because you don't have to hand it to him. Showed it to him, and he looked on it and he wrote it in his book. And as I say, it was bucketing down it was. So the other one came back to him and he said, excuse me sir, but what make of car is this? I said, it's got it on it. So he said, oh, and he went off again with his torch looking all round, but it had only got it on the wheel discs. And it was written ever so classy, and if the wheel disc had been upside down, you wouldn't have a cat and mouse chance of reading what it was if he didn't know. And he came back and he said, well, I can't find it. I said, it's on the wheel discs. So he went hunting about with the wheel discs, but I don't think he made a head or tail of that. And then he came back and he said, well, I'm sorry sir, I said, it's a Lincoln Zephyr. I said, can you spell Zephyr? So he said, yes sir, thank you, yeah. And he wrote that down. And then just as I went off, there'd just been a 2.5 million gold bullion robbery from London airport. And I just wound the window down and I said, did you catch those bullion robbers from... and I put the window up and went off. Well, when I went to court, you wouldn't remember Mrs. Holden, would you? She was a friend of Mum. She was a lovely lady. But she had a son who was a journalist. He worked in those days for the Bedfordshire Times. But he eventually went on to be editor, I think, of a Northampton paper. I suppose he's probably retired now, I don't know. But anyway, he was in court, and of course he knew me. And when the policemen were telling him, you know, that I wouldn't let the window down, I wouldn't talk to him, he kept laughing. And I thought, you silly, you know, but this pound fine's going to be £3 by the time you'll finish turning this into a musical. And the magistrate kept saying, silence in the court every time he laughed. Because I didn't know it was him laughing when I saw him laughing. I thought, oh yeah, that'd be you, you know, you would give me. And I thought, yeah, oh yeah, I'm going to wind up in jail. So anyway, then he even said that bit at the end. He said, and as he rode away, he inquired as to whether we'd had any success, although I didn't phrase it in those words, with the bullion robbery. And of course he was roaring and laughing up in his death, and they were saying, silence in court. I think if it had been anybody but a reporter, because he was on the press table, you know, I think they would have thrown him out. And I thought, yeah, I'll get away with a 5, I shall be damn lucky. But it was too quick.